Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Well, Lori, it's that time of the year. We're at Good Sam Church on Army Trail Road again. Every year we go through this with the switchboard. Jim Lombardo's with
Well,
us to
this
tell us
looks-
a little bit about this year's
This
one.
year, I think this looks like Santa's attic. You think?
Well, it's hard to believe. It seems like you were just here, and
I
that
know.
the year has
And
gone
a
by
year has
already.
gone by.
What you see in front of you is a combination of everybody in town helping us. It's not just Jim Lombardo. It's not the Addiscene Community Switchboard. This is a community effort, okay? All the schools in District 4 and District 88, Addiscene Trail, have had food drives for us. They've collected all the food. We have 1,500 tags. There's 275 families. We took on an additional 5 more families this year. Each child in a family from newborn to 12 gets 3 gifts. So that means each child has got 3 tags somewhere along the line. And children that are 13, 14, and 15, we give them a $20 gift certificate, and they go to Walmart with those, okay? And in the past, I must say, we've always had to take that out of our treasury. This year, I had a conversation with a person, and he said, "Don't you worry about it this year."
How wonderful.
He bought all 60 tags. That's $1,200. Okay.
Wow.
I will not mention him. He was a business in town, but again, it's the whole community. Okay, and I cannot express myself enough to all the people in town and the village employees. There isn't anybody that doesn't help us. All the shopping carts that are here are given to us for 2 weeks by Caputo's. There's 12 tables here that belong to the VFW hall. So, I mean, it's a community effort. It's not just one person. It's everybody, you know.
Now, Jim, it's really amazing to see how this works because last week we had all the kids out here putting some of the boxes together. They're 5th graders, and they help. I mean, so it's everybody's got their finger in this.
Last week we had the 5th graders, like you said, and then Thursday and Friday we had the National Honor Society was here. They had to leave early Thursday because they had their dinner, but they came back Friday. We had a company from Elk Grove Village. They were here on Thursday. Thursday night they sent over 7 employees, and Friday they sent over 8. And Thursday, the young lady got here. She says, "Mr. Lombardo," she says, "you're really organized here." I said, Don't say that until you know exactly what's going on. Oh, about an hour went by, and she said, "You know, Mr. Lombardo, you really are organized here." I said, "Well, it's not just me." She says, "Last week we worked in a place in Lisle, and we sat for an hour before they even talked to us." She says, "We got here, you didn't even say hello, and you put us to work." I said, "Well, that's what you're here for, to volunteer." And they spent 2 hours. 20 of their employees were here for over a period of 4 hours for 2 days. So.
Well, you've been doing this for so many years. You've got it down to a science now. You know what you're doing. I'm sure at first it might have been chaotic somewhat, but you are very organized through experience.
Well, and you know, somebody told me, "Lombardo, you got a well-oiled machine." It's the volunteers.
Yes, everybody.
If everybody doesn't come and help you out, it's, you know.
Somebody's got to be the director, Jim. You know, someone's got to put it all together. But just looking at these packages, and maybe Ange can check, you've got boxes, 2 boxes in a bag, 2 boxes in a bag. You've got this bag down here that's specially put together. Tell us a little bit about that.
This bag here, the Addiscene Trail takes, this year they took 47 families, which is about, I'd be guessing at maybe about 140 tags. And they took a whole family. The one part of the Addiscene Trail, their organization takes all the families, and they take all the tags for one family, and they wrap them, they package them, they deliver them the other day. So all the black bags are from the high school. Again, it's a community deal. It's not just, you know. And Saturday when we have the distribution day, Paul Piper Jr. will be here with his football team. You know, they don't stay long, but they help, you know, and that's what we need, strong young bodies. So, you know.
Every year somebody comes out of the blue and offers help, like $1,200 from that one individual. Last year, I forgot who it was. It was a new businessman. Again,
Acme Bearing. Acme Bearing. You know, yeah.
Well, now, all these go to families who live here in Addison. Is that correct?
That's correct. In Addison Township.
So we're helping our neighbors.
That's correct.
We have all these. It says a lot for the village of Addison. We have wonderful people living here that are charitable and care about one another.
All the churches were involved. The library is involved. There are several companies that take tags. Matter of fact, there's one company on the west end of town who really is in Bloomingdale Township, okay? They take 25 tags, and they didn't bring their gifts until yesterday morning because of the fact that on Tuesday they had a Christmas wrapping party. They distribute the tags.
That's a good
Everybody goes
idea.
out and buys tags, buys a gift, and they have a party the night before. She says, we want to bring them ourselves. So everybody
Nice.
comes up with their own ideas. So,
Well,
it's
that is the
each
spirit
year,
of Christmas
each year
is
we
giving.
each year we find something different. You
Yeah.
know, so and
Very
In
nice.
order to qualify for this, just so those of you who don't know, what do you have to be besides being living
you
in?
have to be a
resident of
resident in Addison Township. You must show your ID that you live at, that you're Jim Lombardo and you live at 123 Main Street in Addison. Or you must have a driver's license that says that, a state of Illinois driver's license, or in most cases our Spanish population has a green card, and it shows in there. So, and we tell them if they move between when they took the application out or the 1st of December, come back. So we change the address. So we had 3 or 4 of those that happened this year. If they don't change, they move, they change their address.
So
goes
what
on.
if they say they have 4 children, but I mean, do
Oh,
they have to prove the children?
They have to bring birth certificates for each one of the children. So, because if they put 4 or 5 kids out, show me 4 or 5 birth certificates. That's fine. I don't,
What's the largest family you have, off the top of your head?
One of them has got 6 kids in it,
Oh, wow.
and a mother and father. Mother and father. So the 2 boxes that you see here have got food in it for the families. Okay, we used to buy gifts for parents, but like most parents, if you take a 38, you say, "Oh, I take a 32."
Yeah.
I don't. I got to tell you the truth. I don't know where those
I
numbers.
think it'd be the opposite.
Be the opposite. So we quit buying that. We quit doing that for the parents. So we give them more food, and we used to do a turkey dinner from Northern Illinois Food Bank, which cost us like $4,000 or $5,000. But doing our finances the last couple of years have not been where it should be, so we can't give them the food. So that food.
Well, summing up, what would you like to tell us as far as all those people that helped out and all the giving that takes place here?
All I could tell you is thank you from the bottom of my heart. The switchboard wants to say thank you again and again. So I can't say enough to the volunteers, the schools, everybody that's involved. All the cartons that you see here are donated by a company. So it's just, you can think of anything you want, I could tell you it's probably donated,
Well, that's terrific, and we hope that everybody will, if they get a chance to come out and help.
Saturday morning, anytime between 8:30 and 2, we'll start distributing the stuff, and clients will come and pick it up. So,
Okay, well, thank you, Jim, and we'll be right back.
How do you feel about your commute these days? A little crabby? You can change that pretty easily. Just take Pace and feel happy as a clam. The savings will be a big change too. Travel in a more relaxing Pace.
Hello, this is Lieutenant Jeff Pluta from the Addison Fire Protection District. As we enter the cold and snow season, I wanted to talk about a couple things you can do to keep yourself safe. Slips and falls are all too common call for us during the winter season. Make sure snow and ice are cleared. If needed, salt can prevent an accident that can land you in the hospital. Snow and ice can build up quickly and can be a pain to keep clear. When you are cleaning up your front walks, please remember to clear your other exits as well. Keeping all your exit ways clear is vital in case of an emergency. Little used side and back doors may be your only way out in case of a fire. Also keep this in mind when you are at work. Thank you and have a safe winter season.
Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Stavanik, Director of Operations with the Addiscene Park District. Today we're here to feature Links and Tees. Charles Sims, hello, how are you?
Thank you, Jerry. Great to be here and great to have all of our residents coming into the Golf Dome this morning.
Charles, for someone who's never been inside the Dome here, let's share with the viewers what the Dome is all about.
Well, we're really proud. If you've never been in the Dome, please come on over. As soon as you come into the Dome, you're going to notice we have a nice complimentary coffee area with a fireplace and a place you can sit and socialize. But when you come on into the actual Golf Dome itself, you're going to see a building that's 70,000 square feet, strictly supported by air. It's climate controlled, and during the coldest winter days, we try to keep it, we set the thermometer at about 62 to 65, but when we have lots of bodies in here, it gets up over 70 degrees. But it's probably the finest place in the Midwest to practice your golf swing during the winter months. We have 45 hitting stations, 23 down below, 22 upstairs, so we've got plenty of room for golfers. We have a real nice short game practice area. We have one of the largest indoor putting greens in the Chicagoland area. And then we have a new little VIP private rental area that we're just working on and getting ready to open up for this season.
Great, and what's the length to the end out there at the end of the Dome?
Well, the dimensions of the Dome itself is 100 yards by 70 yards, but from where the tee line is located, it's about 80 yards to the back flag sticks and about 90 yards to the netting in the very back. The dome itself is about 70 feet tall, depending on how tightly we have it inflated. We have 4 of the most lifelike practice artificial target greens, turf to hit into. And when you hit your shots into those greens, it's so lifelike the ball will hit and check up and stop if you hit it correctly. We have 5 hanging targets at the back of the golf dome, which people use to practice on their aim and their trajectory. We also have a couple of small nets that you can pitch to. And then something I'm really excited about that we just got in this year is we have a kind of a dome feedback system. It's a flag in a 6-foot circumference that's about 40 yards off the tee line. And when you hit pitch shots to that, if you land it within that 6-foot circumference, it'll make a nice loud kind of sound to let you know you're on target. So it's a lot of fun.
That's great. It definitely provides a realistic feel for the golfer out there. And if you're new or just taking up the sport, let's head over to the chipping area so we can feature some of the other elements of the golf game and features here at the Dome.
That sounds great, Jerry. Let's go.
Okay. Okay, here we are over at the chipping area at the world-class Links and Tees Golf Dome. So Charles, tell us a little bit about the chipping area, and is this included in your price when you come over to golf?
Yeah, very good question. When you come to a golf dome, what you're going to do is you're going to check in at the front counter first. We're going to assign you a hitting spot, and you pay based on how much time you're here, and it's done in 30, the 30 minutes is the minimum, then 5-minute increments thereafter. But once you pay and you're up there, come back to the counter and check out. And once you've done that, you have complimentary use of our chipping green, which you can chip from various sides, or our very large putting green on the other side of the dome, which we'll head over there to in a moment. Now, if you're just coming into the golf dome to chip and putt only, then it's a $5 fee.
Okay, great. And explain some of the teaching items that you have available for customers coming in.
Exactly. This is the time of the year where golfers can really work on their golf swings and practice. So we want you to take advantage of all the different stations we have. We like to call that Roam the Dome. So we've already seen the tee line. This is the short game area. Right over here I have a swing mirror. That way customers, our golfers, our professionals can come in and they can set up and they can use the lines on the mirror there to check their posture, check their rotation, see what their swing looks like. Because a lot of times you need that visual feedback in addition to hitting golf balls out on the range. Now, I also have several swing trainers here that people can use. This so happens to be, Jerry, a weighted swing club with the pre-molded grip. So it teaches you to put your hands on correctly, and the weight is distributed, so it really builds up and strengthens your golfing forearms, your hands, and your wrists. So we have several different types of training devices. This happens to be one of the most popular.
Great. Well, let's head over to the putting area and explore that area now.
That sounds great.
Okay, good. All right, we're over here at the enormous putting green. So Charles, tell us a little bit about this area and the kind of play area behind what's going to be going on with that.
Absolutely, Jerry. It's all a play area as far as we're concerned, but this is one of the nicest and largest indoor putting greens in the Chicago area. And this is what really draws a lot of the golfers in here. There's plenty of room to spread out. We have plenty of room for our group lessons or just to have several people out here. The greens, once again, this is artificial turf. They are very fast rolling greens. Our golf pros that we partner with that teach in here love doing the lessons on this because these are very similar to good fast greens that they're going to encounter out on the golf course. And I'm going to go on ahead and demonstrate a putt just how fun and fast these are. Most indoor putting greens that you go to, it's like putting on your living room floor. Everything's level, the putt is straight, everything else.
Definitely has a realistic feel out here.
Yeah,
so.
this putt you barely have to touch. You aim it way out to the right, and it really swings into the left.
All right, that's
bingo.
awesome.
But that putt probably broke about 2 or 3 feet, and it's only about 12 feet long. I don't know why those don't go in for me during the summer months.
Sure. Well, that was a great shot. And tell us a little bit about the bags area. I know Monday nights you're going to have events out here.
Exactly. We're really excited about this. Some people won't recognize this new area here. Formerly, we had a sand trap in here, but it was getting a little bit old, created kind of a mess, kind of dusty, and a little bit dangerous. So we took that out this year. This is now our VIP area. We can use it for several things. I've got it set up right now with a bags game, the beanbag toss. And we're going to start a new program in January. It's in the brochure. It's Monday night bags and beer. You don't have to have beer if you don't want to, but the bags come with it. It's a 2-person team event. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll start that. It starts at 7 p.m. on Monday nights, the first Monday in January. The other area we can use this space for is we do a lot of small group lessons now. We've got a lot of outside groups coming in. So I can put mats down here, I can put T-dividers in here, and we can rent it out as kind of a VIP area. It just gives us more space and helps create a little revenue and a little more excitement here in the Golf Dome.
Well, that's great. We're going to head over to our check-in area and just review some of the other important details of this wonderful facility.
That sounds great, Jerry.
Okay. Okay, we're back here at the front counter. This is an area everybody's going to come and check in at. And Charles, tell us about some of the hours, rates, programs that are coming up. I know we've got some great opportunities for everyone.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of fun things coming up. First of all, the hours of the Golf Dome. Right after the holidays, we're moving into our full season hours, which means Monday through Thursday, we'll open up at 8 a.m. and close at 10 p.m. On Fridays, we open up at 8 and we'll be closing at 11 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, we open up at 7 a.m., so just a little bit earlier for those early risers on the weekends. And then Saturday closing 11 p.m., Sunday will be closing at 9 p.m., a little bit shorter that night. I also want to remind people, real popular throughout the Chicago area, on Tuesdays all day long, we have a 2-for-1 special. So 2 golfers can take 2 hitting bays and only be charged for 1. So we get a huge turnout for that. Every Monday through Friday, we have senior rates up until 11 a.m. And then ladies get a discount in the Golf Dome Monday through Friday from 11 o'clock till 3 p.m. And then juniors, when they come in after school during the week, they get a discount from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. So that's real popular. Also, I'd like to remind everybody, if I could real quick, just the high school teams. If you're on a high school team, boys, girls, or even a college team, send over your roster and you get a discount every day if you're on a high school team and you're here practicing. You just need to show your ID as long as we have that current roster from your school or your coach.
So tell us real quickly about the Platinum cards and some of the gift certificates that are available, gift cards.
Exactly. The most popular item we have here is the Platinum card. That's a prepaid 300-minute card. When you purchase this outright, it saves you 20% during the week or 40% on the weekends over cash prizes, just prices when you come to the Golf Dome. But during Christmas week, beginning on Saturday, if you buy 3 Platinum cards at the normal discounted price, we're going to throw in the 4th at no additional charge. So that's like giving you $100 right there.
That's
so
great.
That's going to be real popular. We're also going to have a special with our golf gloves. Buy 2 golf gloves, we're going to throw the 3rd one in there at no charge. So that'll make a nice gift or a nice stocking stuffer. For our regular golfers, they're probably familiar with this card. This rewards you for frequent visits. If you come 10 times, 10 half-hour visits, we punch it, then you get the 11th one at no charge. So a little freebie there, which is really nice. So there's a lot of ways to save money, discounts, specials, programs.
Sure. Well, and Charles, you just gave a whole hour's worth of information in 10 seconds. If you need to recap any of that information, you could check out the Addison Park District website at addisonparks.org. Click on Links and Tees tab, and you'll be able to have all that information at your ready availability. So come out and join us in the new year at Links and Tees Golf. Come and join us.
We look forward to seeing you. The staff is friendly. We'll help you with everything that you need.
It's my intergalactic destiny. I'm ready, as we all must be, to take on this crazy meteoric conflict. Yikes!
Watch a movie on the way to work. Can't do this driving, but you can on Pace. Pace turns any commute into moments of relaxation. Travel in a more relaxing pace.
Dear Mom, I don't know how to start saying something like this. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have gone to the party. I've entered a world I don't want to be a part of. I'm in hell, Mom. A nightmare, and I need you to help me. I'm so afraid it's too late. Everything spiraled out of control. I want to be your little girl again. I love you, Mom, and I don't know where to turn.
Dear baby girl, I wish I could have helped you. You would have never done anything, ever, for me to hate you. I just wish I could hold you in my arms and tell you it's all going to be okay, that we can just go back to the way it was. I love you, and I'd do anything to hold you in my arms one more time. Love, your Mom.
Okay, we're back with Don and Dory. We're going to hear more about the Community Relations Department, and things are evolving. They're changing a little bit from what you used to do to
Or do you
something
tweak
new.
all the time?
You tweak. You know, I want to say, and I wanted Dory to join me on the program at this point because, yeah, things have been changing, and I think there's a vision looking forward that greatly impacts our department in the organization. But before we get too far into the weeds of all of that, I want to once again publicly thank Harry and Lori Theodore for their volunteering to host this program every week, and they've done so now for better part of 10 years, probably more than 10 years. And
time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
they are the epitome of that. But when they're called upon to do things, to be somewhere, and it goes far beyond what you see on television, Harry and Lori Theodore do that. They're great volunteers, and they're a great example of what's good about our community. So I want to publicly once again thank both of you for doing this, and sometimes we don't get to extend that enough, so I thought this would be an appropriate time at the end of the year.
Oh, we appreciate that. We have a lot of fun doing it. People ask us that all the time. You know, how do you talk to the guests? Who chooses the guests? How do you come up with the questions?
Who does choose the guests?
Big D does.
We give them an answer. Oh.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that people will actually notice some things that we will do. Even our guests will come back sometimes and say, wow, you did a great job. That was really a lot of fun. How do you think of some of the questions you asked me? And I really don't know.
Well,
it just comes up.
Well, and you do. You have to be a quick study because I think, you know, a little inside baseball here, you don't have prepared questions. You don't have volumes of background information, and maybe that's a good thing too. Maybe too much information can bog you down, and then what are you going to ask the guest? You want to be inspired, and you want to be educated as the viewers are being educated, because that makes a better interviewer. That, you know, that makes for a better program.
You're kind of curious anyway, so it's kind of like just a natural conversation where you'd ask a question. How do you do this? What's the purpose of this organization? You know, those are things that everybody would be wondering.
And sometimes I think it's more difficult when you're talking to the same person a lot, you know, to come up with unique questions. So you guys do a great job.
Well, it's interesting. We really enjoy what we're doing. We're having a lot of fun doing it. And it is educational to us, too, especially some of the interviews that we've never met these people before. And as far as the Community Relations Department changing a little bit, what's changing about it?
And not to make it sound like some radical, you know, alteration of what we do, but our department exists to help not only the village organization, but the community as a whole deliver its message. Now, we do that through a number of ways. For many years, 32 years, we've done that on television. We've done that on this program. This program has been around for 32 years. And it was always meant to be a way for the community to learn about itself. So whether you are from a civic organization, a nonprofit group, another governmental agency, a church, whatever the affiliation
Even the
is.
schools?
Sure. Certainly within the community, whether it's through a sit-down interview, as we've done here many times, or putting a program on television where a person could, take on the role of the audience, where they're witnessing the program as it were to happen, or even just to inform them about a program. That's what we've done, and we facilitate that in our department. Now, every town's different. Not every town operates exactly like this. Very few probably in this area. But in Addison, that's the model that has worked, is there's a place for a person or a group to come within the village organization, the city government, where they can reach out to the community. And I think for Addison, that probably works best. That's our fit that works well. What we've started to realize is that communication model, that message that we're sending, will do more for our community than strictly informing people. It has the ability to inspire commerce. It has the ability to bring people out of their homes, get them re-engaged. There used to be a time, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, where people were engaged in the community and they came out and they participated and they volunteered and they gave and partook of things. And I think we've lost some of that now for many reasons. So maybe it's our goal going forward now, walking into a new year and beyond, that we need to re-engage and get our community kind of moving again. And we can deliver that message, but at the same time, I think we do more than strictly we could talk all day about how important it is for our community to be involved. Now we need to start showing people how they can get involved. And I think that's sort of our mission statement, going forward.
Well, since 2008, which was the big downfall in a lot of things as far as money goes, it's taken 6-7 years to try to get back on track. We stopped doing the parade that we used to do. That people would come out to see, and that was a big thing. We had to kind of cut back on that because we couldn't afford to do it anymore.
Right. But we retooled it. And when I talk about retooling it, I think what we've done is we take a look at Rockin' Wheels over this past summer, and Mayor Veenstra and I had a pretty lengthy conversation about that this week on our year in review program. And that is people can come out from their homes into their own community. They don't have to spend a lot of money. They don't have to travel very far. They don't have to go to another town, which was happening. During that time, Harry, that you were talking about and the topsy-turviness of the economy, people were actually leaving Addison and going to other towns to do their fun summer evenings. Well, that's wrong.
Well, it's
That's
different
inappropriate.
now. We're getting people from other towns coming
Exactly.
here.
Well, exactly. And
I met many at
Rockin'
Rockin'
Wheels,
Wheels.
if you want to, you can come and spend the whole evening and not spend a dime. I mean, we have the opportunity
have a good
to
time.
buy food, but there's great entertainment. We have community groups out there to inform, and sometimes with little giveaways. So literally, you could come out every Thursday night and not spend $1.
Yeah.
And that's critical
And it's
with our
enjoying the nice
economy
summer
and
weather.
people with families and neighbors meeting again. They'll come out
Exactly.
here and see you at Thursday.
How do you explain then, if the event began at 6 o'clock at night and the food vendors opened at 6, people showing up at 5 o'clock and probably even a little earlier, getting their spot for the night? We never saw that before. It's those little subtleties that maybe don't mean anything. Yeah, if there's people who show up a little early, big deal. We didn't see that before because you didn't need to show up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Now they do. And I think what that's saying is this is important. I'm planning not just, I'll show up if I can. Now I'm planning a good portion of my evening, portion of my day
So I want a good
around
spot.
this.
Yeah.
So when we started to notice that, when our staff here began to see that, this wasn't just, here we are again to put on another night's concert and the food vendors, and it's not an easy thing to do. In fact, Angelo Sorsi and I were just talking about that a little while ago before we came into the studio. This thing has to be monitored and sat all day. It is not one of these things that you just show up at 4:30 in the afternoon, turn a switch on, and it's ready to go. This is an all-day, actually it goes beyond a day, but it's a day's worth of constant 100% monitoring. Food vendors, stage, bands, sound and lighting,
Weather.
the weather,
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
bikes and the cars. I have to say, again, just to kind of tell you where we're at right now and are looking forward. I'm very grateful that the other village departments are now becoming part of our team, because it wasn't like that. It was pretty much we were off on our own to just make it work, you know, and it's a make or break thing. Now, police, fire, public works, building and grounds, the mayor's office, community development, everybody, finance department, everybody's got a hand in this, maybe a little bit beyond what they used to. So it has truly become an interdepartment, organization-wide event.
project.
It's a community
Exactly.
project, but it's also the village's project.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean it's strictly the people who occupy these offices here. It goes beyond that. And I think that's what we've seen now.
And that's something that Addison is known for, communicating and cooperating with other entities.
Yes.
I think we do that very well.
We do. What we needed to kind of fine tune is our organizational communication within, and I think we've done that. We're going to be meeting on a weekly basis now, prior to our Thursday nights now for next summer, to make sure everybody knows what their job is. You know, very job specific responsibilities. We didn't do that before because it really wasn't necessary. Now it is, because when we have 800 to 1,000 people here.
Well,
we're
A
talking
lot
about big
different than when there's
numbers.
100 people.
Did you feel like it exploded last summer? I mean, with the people coming? It was good the summer before, but this past summer was unbelievable.
It has really been a gradual build over the
Increase.
last
Yeah.
few years, but yeah, we
wonderful.
definitely saw a spike
Yeah.
last year. We did.
But probably from word of mouth, some more people came. You should come to Rockin' Wheels in Addison. It's a lot of fun, so they bring more people. And like I said, I was talking to some people and here they were from other towns.
Well, and that's where
Great to
we got into for the first time really marketing this outside the community. We were getting a decent response, I think, over the last few summers. You know, like I said, it had gradually built, but we finally said, you know, now it's time to show ourselves off beyond the borders of Addison. So we made a big push marketing-wise this summer with 95.9 The River. So.
And the
yeah.
Chicago Tribune. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. John Navraki, who is a member of the Historical Commission, and would staff the historical museum buildings, because they're open the same time that the Thursday night Rockin' Wheels events are going on, had come up to me at least on a couple of occasions this past summer, and he goes, "Whose idea was it to put your flyers in the Chicago Tribune?" And I said, "Well, that's just something that we worked on. We actually had done that even the summer prior, but just not as frequently." He says, "That was a great idea." He said, "Because I opened up the Tribune today, or last Friday, I guess is when he got it, and there it was, and there was a flyer for our event in Addison. So we're going to ramp that up." So advertising has been interesting because we have tried some unique forms of advertising. We just want to make sure we're putting our advertising dollars in the right location.
Place, yes.
That's the roll of the dice that you do with advertising. But we think we have a good partnership with not only the river, but also some of these other things that we've done, and we've done some non-traditional things too. And social media has been a big
Definitely.
new tool that we've used that's helped promote our events. And you know, social media can, as we've learned, and sometimes it kind of has the opposite effect of being a positive, but in this case it's been a positive force because it gets the message out for us.
So your budget
Quickly.
has gotten bigger, correct?
Well,
And where's the money
has.
coming from to do this, which we couldn't do before, to pay for these bands?
As you know, Harry, the village board a number of years ago decided that revenue that the village was going to receive through video gaming, the establishments within Addison that decided that they were going to have video gaming, and the number escapes me about how many businesses we're talking about, but it's at least maybe like a half a dozen or so, maybe
Yeah, I
a little
think
bit more
it's
than
7.
that. Are entitled to have a limited number of these video gaming machines within their establishments. Well, as revenue is generated from those, the village of Addison or any municipality receives a portion of the money back to their local general fund. And for Addison, it was a decision that the board made probably about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I guess, when video gaming started, that money was going to help towards funding community events. And at this time, at least, it's been the board's direction that's
Well, the financial impetus that gave us, you could go out now, and who picks the bands, and how do you get who's coming to show up for
right.
these?
And let me say one other
different-
thing about financial. We also have a group of very good corporate citizens in this community and beyond who are our sponsors. And this past year,
Yes.
we had more sponsors than we've ever had before and more revenue from sponsorship than we ever had before. So they truly are partners with us and put money up to fund these events because they understand the importance of them and getting their corporate name out. And let's face it, they are in business and they should be entitled to advertise themselves. What a great vehicle to do so.
The more bodies out here that come out, they get their name out
Any
there.
business
Exactly.
that sees that as a benefit would want to get on board, and we're always looking, obviously, for new sponsors too. And we have a full year's worth of availability for a sponsor. Who picks the bands? Angelo Sorsi is our first go-to. He will check out the band or come up with an idea for a band, and we have a large cross-section of musical interests and musical taste that we
Well, you
we
have
need
to book them way
You do
ahead
have to
of
book
time.
them ahead
Exactly.
of time.
A
You got to
year
get them
ahead
under
of time?
contract. Darn right, you have to get them under contract. And once you get to that point, then we take it to our special events commission. So probably around March or so, we'll take a full, our first draft, I guess I would say, of what we're going to be doing for the summer to special events and let them kind of go through it. And then we'll start to plug in bands from there. You know, bands have different commitment dates. They're in locations. Some of them are limited as to where they can perform. We want to get as big a bang for the dollar as we possibly can by having bands. Can't always be the same type of music,
Right.
and we're learning that. We're
And
trying
it's
to
a
find out
fine
what tastes
art, you
are.
know.
It is.
A band that had a great draw one summer, you know, it might be your first instinct to say, oh, well, let's have them back next summer. But you can't do that too often because if you're just repeating the schedule from the previous
People
year,
lose
people kind of
interest.
lose interest. So it's a definite balancing act between let's try something new and this really worked and we'll have them back again. And so Angelo does a great job at juggling all that.
That's why it's successful. There's a lot of thought
Oh,
put
a
into this. It's not, let's
tremendous
make it
amount.
easy. We'll just get the same people every year.
Sure.
You can't work it that way. It gets old.
Well, we could do that, but the problem is no one's going to show up
Yeah,
after a
they say
while.
been
Well,
there, done that. you
Yeah, the
know.
ones who
Everybody
didn't
else.
show up because they didn't care for the band won't show up again. So,
Yeah.
so you've got a little niche there that you try to plug
Exactly,
in.
and even once he decides on the lineup, then the order of things, you know, well, this band is kind of similar to this one, so we don't want to put them back to back, and yeah, it's
Well, it's a huge part of our community. What do we do with the weather? I know last year we really were fortunate. I don't think
There's
we had
something
to,
about a horseshoe. I don't know the full story
'Cause
behind this
we
horseshoe
had days
thing.
where it looked like it's
but
not going to be outside.
I think it's becoming an urban legend in this
yes,
community about
yes.
this horseshoe.
I
And apparently-
think there may be a dome
I
over
think
at
dome,
Asians
huh?
like rocking wheels too
I believe the horseshoe is positioned in the correct,
in the place.
yeah, right, positioned correctly.
we got
It's a
very, very fortunate
Yes.
last summer. We really did.
But I'll say though, Harry, in answer to your question, that has now led us to have a discussion in-house about making certain that our grounds are able to accommodate an event should there be a heavy rain like the day before, for example. Okay, so there'll be some budget discussion, nothing that I can really, tell you exactly how it's gonna go yet, so we really haven't gotten to that point where we're going to talk about making some probably infrastructure improvements. And this is going to be a multi-year thing. It's not all going to happen in 1 year, nor should it, but because the dollars involved are going to be pretty substantial. But making some infrastructure improvements so we have a little better drainage in the Village Green. I mean, this is basically the front yard of our community. It's where we have our events. There's so much heritage right here, and it's a comfortable location. The village owns the property, so we pretty much call the shots as to what happens here. It's right within and adjacent to our historical district, so that has some significance. Right with the, within a step or two of the police department, so that's helpful. So altogether, it's a beautiful venue. Because you've been out
Yes.
there enough times to see. Even on the warmest summer day, it's a very comfortable place
Well,
to be in
because
the
of the
evening.
trees.
Exactly.
You just sit in the shade and you're comfortable.
and
if
even
it's
a
hot
couple of
day.
times we got a little bit of a drizzle. It really wasn't that bad
Wasn't
with
that
the
bad.
trees.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
the trees
The
protect us.
The worst thing that happened during the whole summer, when we actually did get quite a bit of water standing out there, was the day after, that night and the following morning after our very last event of the summer. So,
Again, the horseshoe.
boy, I'll tell you, yeah, the horseshoe thing. Yeah. So I guess what we're telling you and the community is taking that event and some of the other subsequent events that we do and modeling it so these become Yeah, they're fun events and they're great for the community to have, and they do bring people out. But our goal now is to begin to use those as marketing tools for the community, to show the community beyond the footprint of where the event takes place, beyond the elements that make up an event, the band and the food and so on, is to really showcase Addison. That's sort of been our goal. I guess it's kind of been an underlying goal maybe for years. Now we need to really, ramp that up. So
Now, there was some talk about putting a permanent bandstand.
Yeah.
Has that gotten any further?
No, and I don't think it's going to for some time. It's really not, quite frankly, it's not necessary. We can talk about permanent structures down the road. I think our goal right now is to fine-tune the event, work on the other elements. This is a beautiful location. We have the oldest church in Addison right
it looks
within
so
our
pretty.
footprint here.
It really
We don't want to
does. It
mar
really does.
that up with another structure, and I don't know as if we would want to go there, because then you always have the
It would look kind
concerns
of
about that.
out of place the rest of the year.
Right.
Possibly, yeah.
You
And
know-
it's funny, as the summer progressed last year, near the early part of the season, the stage got moved to some place that had never been before, again because of drainage, and we went, oh, we really like that, maybe we'll put it there every week. And then a couple weeks later we tried a different place, and we went, that's even better, and God forbid we should
anyway.
build something permanently
You'd
and
be
then go,
wanting to change
It should have been over
"Should've been
there.
Yeah.
I really want to encourage people, going back to social media, I really want to encourage people to make sure that they're on our Facebook page at a minimum. In fact, the village has 2 Facebook pages, and I will
3 if
defer
you
to
count the
Dory.
police
Excuse me,
department.
that's right. And I'll defer to Dory because she monitors that. But I really want to encourage people to get on there, like the Facebook page, right? Am I saying
Yes.
that correctly? Like the Facebook page. All year, not just for the summer, but keep in touch with that all year, but particularly during the summer, because we will post updates and important information. And people used to call here in the morning
Yeah.
of the events and go, well, what's the food being served that night? Now that's readily accessible for you. Get your smartphone out and
Exactly,
as I said, Dory can fill you in
We've,
on that.
there was a bit of a learning curve with us, getting on Facebook, and we've realized that the reason the village has 3 Facebooks is because electronically, more and more people aren't looking at it on their computer, they're looking at it on their phone, so you can't inundate them with too much information. And so the Facebook page Don's referring to is one that we have set up just for our special events information. There's one that has more general village information, there's one from the police department, but you will get just event information, and we can update, continually.
You've
So
made it
here's
convenient.
the menu for
Right.
tonight from 601 Bar and Grill, and here's what La Hacienda will be serving. And if we don't get that out there soon enough, people are posting on the Facebook page now, going,
what's
"What's the
being
menu
served
tonight?"
tonight?
So people want that information, and we've noticed more and more people from outside Addison following or liking that page. So we can keep the information up to date. We put out photos. I'll be out there at the beginning of the evening saying, hey, here's the stage coming up, here's the band warming up, and we can tell people are liking those as well. So that's the best way to keep up to date and know exactly what's going on. And if, God forbid, we have to cancel for the night, that's how we let people know.
Do you feel you're on the cutting edge of the social media? Do you feel
I
like
don't
you
feel
are?
that way at all, no.
Or are we chasing it? Or?
I mean, we're trying to keep up. We're also, we've launched a village YouTube channel now as well. Addiscene is now on there, but we started posting things on YouTube about a year ago. Kind of a recap of Rockin' Wheels, so people could see highlights and what the band was like and things like that. And we started posting other programs on there over the past year, ACTV Digest, and now Addiscene is on there as well. Because you hear more and more people aren't watching television in the traditional format anymore. They're watching on their phone. Well, that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm.
I think we are going to be within that. Maybe it's not the cutting edge, but it's certainly a player
Exactly.
in social media, probably by this time next year. I think we will be so well engaged with it, and our end users, whomever they may be. We used to call them our residents or our viewers, and now we really
Can't do that, yeah.
But that's okay, because we want people to come to Addison. Why should they be spending their
Absolutely.
sales tax dollars in another
Make
town?
them wish
Spend
that
it
they
here.
lived here.
Exactly.
So
well, and that's
keeping
something
them
that we
informed.
hope. That's why
Yes.
it's local businesses out here. Hopefully, people who come out to the concert say, "Hey, I didn't know about that restaurant.
And
I'm going
it's
to have
so
to check
close
them
to
out."
home.
Exactly.
Well, in promoting Addison, I know we just finished with the Mayor's Community Charity Ball. That's probably the second biggest thing that the village does as far as promoting itself.
Dory thinks it's the biggest thing in the world that has to get
Exactly,
done.
isn't it?
Well, in our world.
But that's a promotional tool too,
Yeah,
Harry and Lori, it really is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the businesses that get involved in that
Right.
and the money they bring in
And for
just
all
from
the
business.
different charitable organizations, it's a real boost for them.
I know we just passed out checks yesterday, which was terrific to see all these organizations getting money back from what they promoted and promoting the village. It's a wonderful sponsorship. And I know, Dory, Miss Addison Advantage, you do such a good job, but I think there's other towns that would love to be able to do what we do. And you've got kind of that template where, and you've helped out other towns
Haven't we
in doing
had
it.
other mayors come and check out?
Wooddale
Oh,
will be
we're
holding
doing
their first
because they
one this
heard about
spring.
us?
Wooddale is?
Yes, we sat down with them almost a year ago and explained how we do it and what we've learned doing
they're
it so
trying to
many
emulate
times.
what
And so next
we do.
spring they're doing their first one. So we'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah, I know Hanover Park does something like it, only I think it's sponsored by the Park District or something, I don't know. But I've had people talk to me about it at some of when we do our tours downtown, about, wow, how did you get that going? What did we do? And I refer them over here.
Right. Well, that's fine because we want to be. You talk about the cutting edge. That we
Yes.
want to be there for those other towns in Wooddale, Hanover Park. I mean, they have great mayors who are leaders in their community who have been to our event, who've talked with Larry Hartwig, who talked with Rich Veenstra. They get it. They've met with Dory. Good for them, for taking the lead and doing the event for their community the way it fits best within their town.
We're really an amazing community when you think about it, because we seem to blend with anybody. We're right out there really helpful in any way we can be of helpful to them. And that's the way it should be. I know there were times when maybe some towns would be a little bit apprehensive about helping another town with what they're doing because they want to keep it to themselves. We're not at all like that.
Right.
But our community isn't like that, because even all the different taxing bodies, everybody works very well together, where they might even combine an effort sometimes for a fundraiser. They'll combine. It's so
Exactly.
smart to do it that way. You get more people, you make more money, and you're helping one another. And we do a lot of that here.
Absolutely. It's an overriding philosophy, I think, in Addison, just kind of a spirit of cooperation. If we're both trying to improve the community, why wouldn't we work together?
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Real quick, Harry and Lori, I want to mention that in February 7th and 14th, those are 2 Saturdays, February 7th, February 14th, we'll be having a home improvement expo in the rotunda of the Village Hall. These will be Addison businesses that are primarily in business to market home improvement products, ideas, services to the community. So residents and non-residents, of course, can come into the rotunda on February 7th and February 14th, 10 to 2 each day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
On
Is it Saturday?
On Saturday.
2 Saturdays in the rotunda. Businesses will be here set up. You can just sort of walk along, shop, learn about our business community, and get some information and possibly say, hey, I've been looking for a certain type of service. Kind of held at the end of the winter months when people start to think about springtime home improvement. We'll have Addison Police and Fire Department personnel here to talk about home safety, and then we'll also have some people from other village departments to talk about building permits and overhead sewer installation, which
Okay.
is kind of an important thing for a community too. It's free admission, and it'll be in the Village Hall Rotunda February 7th and 14th, 2 Saturdays.
Well, Don, Dory, Angelo, Dave, Mike, thank you all for being such a great community. You do such a good job that we tend to not notice you as much because everything's always running
Well, they're
so
behind
smooth.
the scenes,
That's right,
so to
it's
speak.
transparent.
And they do
No one
a
can
lot
tell.
of work.
Right.
Thanks for what you
Okay.
do.
Yes.
We
Well,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
We'll be right back.
How do you feel about your commute these days? A little crabby? You can change that pretty easily. Just take Pace and feel happy as a clam. The savings will be a big change too. Travel in a more relaxing Pace.
A picture-perfect lawn may look harmless, but its effects can be a real horror show. Rain washes fertilizer, bug and weed killers off your lawn, down ditches and drains, and into our rivers, where they can be toxic to wildlife and pollute our water. So cut back on lawn chemicals. Mow higher, leave the clippings, and enjoy a beautiful, healthy, safer lawn.
This is our last show for the year, and Harry and I would like to thank you for being a part of our audience each week here on Addiscene. It's especially nice to have had so many guests with us on the show each week. We hope that our show has once again helped inform and educate our community on issues that are important to Addiscene.
And as we talked about earlier, Addiscene started 32 years ago as a source of news and information for our community. As we kick off 2015, it will be our goal to continue bringing you important information and interesting guests here on Addiscene. We'll be taking some time off for the holidays, and Dory will be here filling in for us on January 13th, and we'll join you in the new year on Tuesday, January 20th. For all of us here on Addiscene staff, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.